just get everything going. I'm back with a face. Okay. Nobody liked the way I did things last time, which I'll explain a bit. But as the title said, scholars have said 2029 for World War III, if there's an if in that, you know. And I'm going to go through it. It's not unknown now, so let me just get everything going up here. Bear with me. And apologies for a week of all sorts of stuff, and 100 people left. So, there you go. Hang on. What am I doing? Spin this up. I need your comments. Is anybody in? Or have I come on too soon? There we go. Bear with me. Script Master, how you doing? Good to see somebody after the week I've been through. Oh, dear me. I'll be on in a minute. I'll just get this so I can see the comments a bit easier. Not that I should be I'm going to have to concentrate on comments now. So if I put the sound and see what goes on. There we go. Okay, so brothers and sisters, as the title said, 2029 for World War III puts us in interesting situation, because is World War III the tribulation, isn't it? So that's what we're on about. But firstly, as I say, I'm not going to do videos without me on them anymore. Nobody likes them, and everybody complained about them. It was just a way of getting my history material out, because my editor is text to voice, so I put them on, but I couldn't get my voice, so it wasn't me, my face wasn't there, everybody left. So fortunately, I do not make a living out of YouTube. I do this because I feel the Lord wants me to, and I hope I'm right. But Grave, hello, Grave. Grayv, Grav, hello. Good evening, good welcome. Good afternoon. Right, I can see things. Okay, let's continue. It's scholars that said this, not me. And I come across it. I think it's known, and if it's known, let me know. Diane! Let people come in for now. Because 2029 is very, very close. 24, nearly finished. 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. It's only 5 years away. And the Smeeters line up with this, guys, which I'm going to, over the next videos, try and pin this together for all information, because it's the most accurate thing I've come across yet. So let's read it. Talk about the cycle theory, help people understand what they're really happening. Right. Okay. International relations scholars have done the discovery God's process in Daniel 22:20. I am the God who raises the kings, and I am the God who disposes kings. And he does the base. I've got to be careful to read it right. That's based on Proverbs 14:34. That righteousness exalts a nation, but sin condemns a people. Right, so that way, excuse the writing, an international. What that is saying is that he chooses the kings, right? Obviously, we know this. This is not new. And these scholars have gone back through, which I'll go into this information. So he chooses a king, and the king is responsible for the nation's health, as in the times of Sodom and Gomorrah, obviously bad kings. So he removed kings. But when a country is righteous, a power, or a polar as they call it, then it'll do well. If not, it's going. So we've got to ask our question, what our countries are doing and what's happening here. So interesting. Whole fire system works that God set up. There are 3 phases that repeat in the international power system and in the 5,000 years of recorded history. We've been through this cycle, and we'll talk about 26 times where we're now in the 27th time this has happened, where a power is raised up. Let me just read this. I have difficulty with this thing. Let me just put the size up, I might help. Okay. Bipolar, right, where our international system works, the God, blah, blah, blah. 26 times. Now we're in the 27th time of the repetition of all that's being worked out. What's to follow? Repetition that the cycle. So I hope there's nobody being bad there. Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much, Diane. Cycle so that the world starts as what's called the multipolar. Okay, so they name it differently. Multi-power, multipolar, whatever you want to call it. And people will be hearing that on the news now, the news is finally picking up and talking about where you have 3 or more great powers. I'm going to explain what's going on in a minute with Russia, Iran and China, okay? Countries that fight each other for control of the world because they're in equal power, and eventually there's wars, and most of them lose their power, and we have a bipolar world where there is 2 powers fighting each other. Then one of them loses their power, okay? And there is a unipolar power, okay? That's describing it, but it's not necessary. I'll read it. One global superpower, and then what you will happen throughout all of history, that one global superpower becomes sinful, right? Now, who's the superpower? At the moment, who is the superpower? It's the US. What's happening on there in the times of Sodom and Gomorrah? It is. Now, I'll say this right now, and I know nothing about your politics, but according to this, the only person that's needed with backbone to trade the US back into a good country, I'm not knocking you guys, is a man with backbone. Trump's your man. But that's only don't knock me on that. You know your politics better than me. But who is not putting up with any nonsense? Bipolar world, that there are 2 powers fighting throughout the history, and global superpower. Let me read over. Become sinful and lazy, prideful, arrogant, so that Proverbs 14 dynamic, you know sin condemns people. You know that brings them down and transfer to the multipolar world, multiple powers, which there is at the moment. Again, as soon as you cross the barrier from the unipolar and multipolar. So the struggle is, as I'm saying a bit earlier, is when we have would-be wars. So to put it in a perspective of history, we can go back to the colonial period where all of European powers fighting for control of the world. You know, Britain was a great power. Sun never set on the British Empire at one time. It was Britain and France fighting for control of the world bipolar, okay? Power of the world, okay? Then Napoleon lost at Waterloo. I could tell you a whole story of that. And Britain became a unipolar power, Great Britain, in 1815, and ruled the whole world and brought global peace. Boom, because our morals were right in them days. So in the unipolar season, you have its best season for the world, because you have prosperity, education, development, health development, economic development, because money is going into hospitals, libraries and schools, not tanks, aeroplanes, guns, uniball, and so on. Do you get the drift? I'm sorry to do this, but it's a start of something. Unipolar power is the best unipolar season, and multi-power is the worst. Well, by 1914, Britain had become so immoral, we slipped into multi-power mode world, and Japan, Germany, France, America, and great powers of the world, War One, okay? And then we went on to World War Two. Do you get the drift? War One, I hope this is clear enough for you. World War One. And then we had the Great Depression, and then World War Two. That was 31 years of multiple polar world. You can hear it coming. Then many of them lost their way and the world went bipolar. It was a USSR. It was the US and the USSR, which we know about. And which one of those was more moral? The USA, so-called the Soviet Union collapsed in 1992, and the US in January 1st, 1992. Okay, sorry about this. I will send this. I am going to put this document on Patreon in the Freeview account, okay, so you can see it. But give me time. I'm not a well man. Became the UN polar power, and for the past 30 years, we've had the greatest season of economic development, correct? Education development, globally, health development, extreme poverty went from 52 of the world down to 9% of the world because of the uni power. Do you get me? I could read on for hours and I don't want to bore you, because I will put this, I like to rewrite this script and learn it. This was what I was doing actually for the last week, and I'm sorry you were all fine, not you guys, but you were all leaving. Okay, BD Virus Ambassador, what was this then? Thank you guys. Thank you for praying each other while I try and get through this. What we're saying is we're in the 27th and we're due for a problem, a World War 3, okay, in 2029, okay? Now, is it likely that the US is going to clean its act up? That's basically what we're saying. As I say, if you didn't understand it, I will put it where I will do several videos on this, where I can understand it. I'm getting it out today to get you interested. I seen this on Jimmy Evans, so find the full thing. You only find a part on Jimmy Evans as well. So, but it's good to watch it for someone who actually knows what they're talking about. It wasn't Jimmy, it was the guest. Awakening of both spiritual and secular values are awakened, then that leads to 20 years of unraveling, and then leads to 20 years of crisis. So there's a time on all this has always happened over 26 in its 27th time, okay? Where world wars happen, it's timed. It's so good. I will look at it. Now I know from my studies, and thanks to Brother Frank for giving me them in the first place. And if you're on, brother, keep your eyes open to this channel. All the Shemitah years and cycles line up with 2029. The Shemitah ends in 2029, okay? We were waiting for it a couple of years ago, and it didn't go through that one, but it's a 7-year cycle, 6 and 7 year cycle, where the land will be given back. So it'll be significant. Will it be the end of the world? I don't know. I don't know, because it's 5 years away, isn't it? 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 5 years away. Is it going to be? What is it going to be? If it's World War 3, is that the tribulation? That's the question. We're all shouting World War 3. World War 3 is coming. World War 3 is coming. It could be just the Lord is coming, you know? But 5 puts us bang on. If it was, what I'm saying is it, if 2029 is the start of the midpoint of tribulation, then rapture's ready to happen. We are on the cusp of going. I know a lot of people don't believe in pre-tribulation rapture, but when you read them 4 together, including pre-wrath, pre-trib is, but what you call rapture, what you call tribulation, mid-tribulation, which the bad stuff starts, or the whole 7 years. But it's 7 years, by the way, okay. So, don't rush over to Patreon now, guys. Patreon will get this video. But on Patreon, I will try and get all this copied. You know, if you're a patron, expect it to come, because this will come raw. It's pretty unreadable, as you can hear, but I will get it out. The family is all on the prayer list. Absolutely, Joyce Campbell. Unlikely the scholars are wrong. Well, I do. I'm looking at this because what is a watchman? What is a watchman? We're not prophets. I don't know a prophet, I don't know of a prophet. I've seen people prophesy and it not happen. To me, they're not a prophet. Jesus does not sit in fact, he gives me a very hard time. I've had 18 months of this, to which I thought I was going to get lots of videos out because I was using the editor. Now, my promise is my face will be on the video. Okay, a lot of people, nice people, have written to me and said, we'd like to see you, and I understand that because I've been the voice of this channel for 6 years, 17, 18, 19, 20, 23, 24, going on 7 years, okay? We started this for the Lord, I did in a van, and it's been an amazing 7 years. That's an interesting number too, isn't it? But it's been interesting to go on. This is quite a long, it's 4-page article, 5, 6, 7 page. I will give this to my sister Victoria, and maybe Cal as well. I don't want to weigh you down, Cal, but to go help me through this and see what we can find out of this, and go to the and look at it on the web, on Google, and see what we're going, and then just stay with it. There's so much that's gone through this channel, and so much goes through other channels that go one onto another, oh, something else over there, oh, a star fell out of the sky, oh, we've seen a spaceship. We've got to get some reason, right and reason. If we're watchmen, what are we watching for? The soon return of our Lord and Saviour, Jesus Christ. That's what it is, the rapture of the church. Not that we can see him coming in the clouds. We'll meet him on the clouds. He'll be coming with the iron rod the next time, and we'll know when he's coming because the tribulation, every last prophecy of that one, will be ticked off. We'll be able to watch it coming, wormwood, all the rest of it, So it's then we're going, but I'm not going to harp on that. So anyway, come back with that sort of, I feel garbly. Forgive me if it is, but the videos will go out. I'm going to Spain for 2 weeks next week, at the end of this week, and I don't know what videos I can put out from Spain, but pray for me as I travel that this is comfortable, that this is comfortable and I get a good travel and a good rest, because I've been doing a lot over the last 2 years. Moving house is the biggest one. So there's a lot been going on in my life, and this has been impossible to make. I was doing 4 videos a day at one time. Then I dropped it down to 3 because I couldn't manage 2 and 1. And we were going really, really well. People were sending stuff in, and we were getting a chance to read it. But it's good to see everyone. I am not joking. It's not. I don't know what thumbnail I'll put on this, but according to the scholars, 2029 is a high watch for World War III. If World War III, I'll recap this, is the start of the tribulation, then we're out of here anytime. That's what I'll recap. That's how I read this, because I read it end times. How I believe, what I see is happening right now, and I'm not speaking out of turn, I'm speaking out of what I think and what I've read, that there's 3 testers going on to see if the US will respond. Okay, and we're finding that Europe is responding. Interesting. Will the US respond to the invasion of the Ukraine? 1. 2, the next one, which would be Iran, hits Israel. 2. And the next one will be, will China invade? The one it's hovering around now. And they're not to start war. Obviously, it looks a bit of a joke in the Ukraine for the Russians. It's like smacking the teeth. In my opinion, it's a test to see what the superpower's doing, leading us into this. That's amazing. That's an amazing time. I'm tying up with a Shemitah. 7 years. You couldn't write this stuff, but God did. God did, and somewhere in the Bible is the final days, okay? There's no doubt about it that we do not know the day nor the hour of the tribulation, of the tribulation at the moment, or of the rapture at the moment. But you know, he will tell us. I believe that those who are in relationship, as in the Church of Philadelphia in Revelations, those that are in relationship as that will hear his voice. Born again Christians will hear his voice. If we're ready for him, how are we ready for him? We're ready for him by reading this every day. Why do we read this every day? For chastisement, for encouragement, for just about everything you can think of in your life, and wisdom. But to keep in touch with Jesus, because you're mindful of him. There should not a day go by where you're not mindful of him. And then pray. Pray always. It doesn't say pray on a Saturday. Pray once a day. It says pray always. So as you're going through your daily walk, you're saying, oh Lord, I've got a problem here, Lord, help me. In your spirit. However, you're mindful of the Lord. And help him with his sin. Help him with his sin. Confess it for a start. Get the enemy off your back. Because what happens is, if you leave a foothold for the enemy, i.e. you sin, and don't repent about it, he's got that foothold. That's what that means. To do what? To torment you more. And to accuse you in heaven. So, confession every day to the Lord. But I hope we've touched on a subject that's not too complicated, because I really am struggling reading this at the moment. It's not my glasses. It's my headache. But pray, your prayer, you want to know, I want to let you know that your prayers are heard. I feel better than I felt in a very long time. A very long time. And I don't know, I think it's the dog's dander, because we've moved from a house 3 times the size of this into a much smaller house. So the dogs and us are all together. And they're both in their 90s now, so they're getting on. And I think the Lord's just being merciful by keeping them alive for me. But at the same time, until they're gone, I think I'll have it. And I really do hope I find a cure, because I don't want to go till 2029 with this. But thanks for the prayers. Now, if anybody wants prayer, do pray in the big comments underneath, not the comments in the chat here, but in the comments. Please pray for me. I will. And I'll send you back some hands to let you know that I've seen it, and I will. Okay? Because if you aren't praying for a list of people, then get a list in your book, any little book. These are ex-British police books, I think. US books, they're coppers on eBay or Amazon, just to have in your pocket or your handbag. And you can open them and read your prayer list. And just bring it in your mind to the Lord. They're so helpful, because they tell you prayer works. It really, really works. But you've got to do it a lot. Because he says, but brothers and sisters, I am going to leave you. May God bless you, keep you, make his face to shine upon you, and be gracious to you this day and always. But the channel is about the promotion of the gospel of our Lord Jesus Christ. If you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, you are saved. That's it. Believe in Jesus Christ. I'd recommend a channel and the evangelist of my heart. The biggest evangelist I know is Ray Comfort. Okay, just type in Ray Comfort and watch how he works. I love the man, because he's out there. I'm not an evangelist of that scale, but he just does it. And that's what God has called in people, to do it. So for evangelism, tie to him. But I'm going. I don't know if I'll be back. I'll be doing recorded videos, okay, with my face on. But I can do them. They're a little harder to make than the ones I was making before that nobody liked. That I'll have to put that down as the week that nobody liked on the Disciple channel, because they didn't. And I was making lots of mistakes. But anyway, I will try and get some recorded so I can release. Will I be back next Monday? Don't know. Will I be back the Monday after? I'll be travelling back. So it might be 2 weeks before I'm out, but pray for me. If I can do it, I will. I'll be posting this out if I can. Again, God bless. See you very, very soon. Pass this on.